My travelers on the road to CASA. As you can see with your eyes, this is a momentous moment. We finally have a camera. We still don't have those buttons. That's your fault, not mine. But we'll be recording the first in a long time video solo episode, and I hope to do many more in the future, not just solos. Hint. So this episode is going to be a very, very new, different type of setup, scenario. I'm basically just going to share some thoughts I've been having around being one of one, being yourself, in other words, and how differentiating authenticity is. I think it was Naval Ravikant who said that to escape competition, you need to be authentic. And authenticity, being yourself, is the ultimate strategy, you could say. So a lot of it's just about the quote of the day. I wish it was mine. I thought I'd coined it, but it was actually a guy named Kevin Kelly who said, "Don't be the best, be the only." So I'll actually be reading a few things, and hopefully they're of value to you on your road and in your dream. So the first thing I'm going to be sharing is this tweet thread by this Silicon Valley angel investor, tech mind, Naval Ravikant. He's a great entrepreneur, and the tweet storm, the X storm, it was called "How to Get Rich," and in brackets, "without getting lucky." And I'm basically going to talk about that, which segues into his summary of it, which is 2 words: productize yourself. But here's the thread, and I hope it's of value. I think it was quite dense. This was back in 2018, by the way, so it's timeless. Seek wealth, not money or status. Wealth is having assets that earn while you sleep. Money is how we transfer time and wealth. Status is your place in the social hierarchy. Understand that ethical wealth creation is possible. If you secretly despise wealth, it will elude you. Ignore people playing status games. They gain status by attacking people playing wealth games. You're not going to get rich renting out your time. You must own equity, a piece of a business, to gain your financial freedom. You will get rich by giving society what it wants, but does not yet know how to get at scale. Pick an industry where you can play long-term games with long-term people. The internet has massively broadened the possible space of careers. Most people haven't figured this out yet. Play iterated games. All the returns in life, whether in wealth or relationships or knowledge, come from compound interest. Pick business partners with high intelligence, energy, and above all, integrity. Don't bother with cynics and pessimists. Their beliefs are self-fulfilling. Learn to sell. Learn to build. If you can do both, you will be unstoppable. Arm yourself with specific knowledge, accountability, and leverage. Specific knowledge is knowledge that you cannot be trained for. If society can train you, it can train someone else and replace you. Pardon me. Specific knowledge is found by pursuing your genuine curiosity and passion rather than whatever is hot right now. So relevant with this whole AI stuff, like big. But if you're generally interested in AI, like by all means. Okay, back to the piece. Pieces. There's a tweet storm. Thread. Building specific knowledge will feel like play to you, but will look like work to others. When specific knowledge is taught, it's through apprenticeships, not schools. Specific knowledge is often highly technical or creative. It cannot be outsourced or automated. Embrace accountability and take business risks under your own name. Society will reward you with responsibility, equity, and leverage. The most accountable people have singular public and risky brands. Oprah, Trump, Kanye, Elon. Give me a lever long enough and a place to stand, and I will move the earth. Archimedes, or a lesson in leverage. Fortunes require leverage. Business leverage comes from capital, people, and products with no marginal cost of replication. So content and code. I think a great, just side note, is the 4 C's. I once heard the 4 C's in terms of this model of the ways that you can create leverage. So leverage is just cranking once and getting more out of each crank. So if you think about the Archimedes image, he just needs a lever, he needs a place to stand, and you pull that lever, he believes he can move the earth, right? It's a beautiful image. But it's basically, for 1 rep, you can get the most out. And the 4 C's, content, so podcasts, media, content creation, code, which is digital content. It's getting a computer, getting a robot to do something, right? To follow those instructions that you would code into it. Capital, so that's getting money to work for you. Investments, etc. And collaboration. So he says, I think here people, he says capital, people, and products with no marginal cost of replication, which is content and code. Instead of people, you could just do collaboration. You won't forget the 4 C's. Capital means money. To raise money, apply your specific knowledge with accountability and show resulting good judgment. Labor means people working for you. It's the oldest and most fought over form of leverage. Labor leverage will impress your parents, but don't waste your life chasing it. I don't know about this. It's an interesting claim he makes. Capital and labor are permissioned leverage, and I think this is where he departs. This is where he specifically is against capital and leverage. Everyone is chasing capital, but someone has to give it to you. Everyone is trying to lead, but someone has to follow you. Permissioned. Code and media, I say code and content, are permissionless leverage. They're the leverage behind the newly rich. You can create software and media that works for you while you sleep. An army of robots is freely available. It's just packed in data centers for heat and space efficiency. Use it. If you can't code, write books and blogs, record videos and podcasts. And now to exit the piece once again for a quick moment. In 2026, if you can't code, vibe code, my G. There is a way now. You can actually even use Claude Code or even ChatGPT if you still want to just learn the ropes while you're coding and while you're learning how to code. So there's that. You can probably code now. Leverage is a force multiplier for your judgment. Great equation there. Judgment requires experience, but can be built faster by learning foundational skills. There is no skill called business. Avoid business magazines and business classes. So that's the end of the thread. But then he goes on to summarize it in 2 words, in one extra tweet that links back to it. I think it was years after that he summarized it. And he said, in summary, productize yourself. Productize yourself. So Naval actually goes on to speak to this idea of productizing yourself, and basically he breaks it down into these two words, productize and yourself. Productize meaning specific knowledge, right? The productizing has specific knowledge and leverage, and the yourself has uniqueness and accountability embedded in this statement. So when you go back to his how to get rich thread, you talk about specific knowledge, that knowledge that you can only get through apprenticeships, through personal experience, through curiosity, passion, and etc. And leverage, which is that principle of cranking and getting more for one crank than you put in. And then the uniqueness of yourself is the differentiation, which is now more of a business concept. You obviously, in order to be valuable, in order to be irreplaceable, you have to be unique, you have to be differentiated. But then again, there's that point of accountability. I think we can get very philosophical and we can think to that point of accountability. I think, however, it links to that point of integrity as well that he made, that the people you want to do business with are of integrity, and accountability enhances your integrity. When they can point to you, to who answers to this capital that's been allocated, when they can point to you, when they are seeing you as the person who is responsible, therefore accountable, then you have power. And it's an interesting form of power. So Naval goes and says, if you're looking towards the long term, you should ask yourself, is this authentic to me? Is it myself that I'm projecting? And then, am I productizing it? Am I scaling it? Am I scaling with labor or capital or code or media or content? It's a very handy, simple mnemonic. What is this podcast? So he said this on a podcast, on his own podcast. This is a podcast called Naval. I'm literally productizing myself with a podcast. And then he goes on to say, find hobbies that make you rich, fit, and creative. So you want to find ways in which you can be yourself and your life is self-reinforcing and not self-serving, wrong word, but every aspect of your life strengthens another, galvanizes another. It's like integrity, it's like alignment. And so when you're authentic and you are able to apply leverage to your authenticity, then you're able to sustainably be who you are and make money, maybe. So those were some thoughts from Naval on being the only, not necessarily the best. And I think I wanted to share some of these meditations on talent, because I think it's very beautiful to hear, but also very valuable to internalize. So the first one is the title of this episode. Don't be the best, be the only. This was a quote from Kevin Kelly. And to expand upon it further, don't be top of the class, be in a class of your own. When you become the only, you become the missing piece. When you want to be the best, you simply want to replace a piece. When you're in a category of your own, you become something that was always missing that we needed. And so that's why it's such a noble goal, I believe. On a societal level, if you do what only you can do, then you do what others can't. And when you do what others can't, we raise the tide. What is your tide raiser? What are you not just the best at, but the only in? And this was a quote from Winston Churchill that I think is such a brilliant tribute to talent. There comes a moment in each of our lifetimes where we are figuratively tapped on the shoulder and offered a chance to do a very special thing, unique to us and fitted to our talents. What a tragedy if that moment finds us unprepared and unqualified for what could have been our finest hour. What a tragedy if that moment finds us unprepared and unqualified. What you do today, these 4 years of struggle, plus 3, right? Training, if you're a trainee. 4 years of no pay, you're paying to get knocked, right, in your studies. And then 3 years of articles. That is preparation. That is qualification, quite literally. What a tragedy if you do not become what you are meant to be for that moment. And that's why I believe you should not just keep yourself confined to your degree. You should consider who you authentically are. Not just your school learnings, but your apprenticeship learnings, internships, conversations, those tangents, those curiosities, those peculiar passions, those things make you prepared for what could be your finest hour. Because, and as Joseph Campbell said, the privilege of a lifetime is to be who you are. This segues nicely into a piece that I wrote. When did I write it? I wrote it in CTA. I wrote a lot in CTA, and I think I'm going to be very vulnerable right now. It's quite raw. It's raw, this piece, because I think I was just in the mode, and I think it's valuable to show you the work in progress, I suppose. It's called Do the Wrong Thing. The right idea at the wrong time is the wrong idea. Timing is critical, always. You need to do things at the right time. You need to do things at the intersection. What do I mean by intersection? I mean at that appointed time, at the intersection of knowledge, of skills, and of networks. You need to know the right things, knowledge, to do the right things, skills, with the right people, network. But how do you get there? Through doggedly following your passions and curiosities. Don't focus on one thing forever. And if you do, focus on the wrong thing. Because a wrong thing done, and another wrong thing done, and another wrong thing done becomes the right thing. They say 2 wrongs don't make a right, but maybe 3 can. 3 wrongs can very much become a right thing. The wrong things bundled together become the right intersection of the Venn diagram. There are countless struggling writers, painters, and, while not necessarily struggling, certainly not thriving in the age of AI vibe coding, programmers. But when Paul Graham does all 3, write, paint, and code, you wind up with Y Combinator. You could be an engineer, or an artist, or an architect. But when you're all 3 and some change, shout out Leo da Vinci, right? Like, because he was more than that. You may just get the Sistine Chapel. Maybe you're an investor, or an inventor, or even a calligrapher. But nobody would believe that when you're all 3, you would become Steve Jobs. Is it starting to become obvious? Maybe even repetitive? Well, tough, because there's more where that came from. David Epstein, writer, his magnum opus, Range, shows us 10,000 hours is not what you need. You need range. Roger Federer was a rugby player, soccer player, and sailor before he settled down on tennis at 12. 12 years of age. 12. You need to be a generalist. You need to pursue the new T-shaped career. So a T-shaped career, to give you context, is basically there's your base, like you've got like a base of having an engineering degree, having an engineering qualification, and then you specialize in civil engineering, or you specialize in, let's just go super niche, you specialize in engines. Boom. You specialize in engines, in nuclear or in liquid natural gas energy production. Niche. But you're an engineer. Then you go special. The new T-shaped career is few but multiple verticals. Not just this, not just liquid natural gas engines, but liquid natural gas engines, and a little bit on the maybe, I don't know, AI applications in power stations, whatever that could be. Few but multiple verticals with a wide base. The base maybe being a CASA behind your name. If I didn't overextend myself back in high school and act in all those school plays, so to give you context, the school staff were questioning whether I should be allowed to star as a lead role in a particular play back in high school because of how many things I was doing at the time. But our drama teacher stood up for me in the background. Guys, just the power of sponsors, BTW. If I didn't overextend myself doing those plays, if I didn't overextend myself and do those 3 years of Toastmasters while studying my degree, if I didn't overextend myself and drop out for 2 months and start those online businesses that all spectacularly failed, fortunately in hindsight, I would not have been able to do what I've done with the Road to CA podcast. TLDR, you can only connect the dots looking backwards, as Steve Jobs would put it. So you should do what feels right. Yes, do what puts food in the fridge, but also what puts fire in the belly, as Leron Leboff would also put it. So long as you apply your heart and soul, your heart, nerve, and sinew, in the words of Rudyard Kipling, your time will never be wasted. There is no wasted time for those who try. No, for those who do. No, for those who are. Who stake their lives on the current moment and do what is before them. Just as Joseph Campbell said it, who pursue the great privilege of a lifetime of being who you are. The only rule is this: don't dabble. Ben Wilson, host of How to Take Over the World podcast, notes from his study of all the great figures of history like Napoleon, Julius Caesar, and Mansa Musa that, quote, none of them gritted their teeth to greatness. None of them gritted their teeth to greatness. You must follow the path of passions. Not the passion, not the purpose, not the why, but passions. The path of many passions and the road of sprawling interests. Along the way, you will discover what to focus on and what to dedicate large swaths of your life to. You will find out through wrong things what is right. Do the wrong thing, man. Do the wrong thing. I wanted to share also If by Rudyard Kipling. If you've never heard it, I think it's a brilliant poem that tells you a little bit about how to be yourself and what manner to be yourself for a successful life. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you. If you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too. If you can wait and not be tired by waiting or being lied about, don't deal in lies. Or being hated, don't give way to hating. And yet don't look too good, nor talk too wise. If you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet with both triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same, if you can bear to hear the truth you've spoken twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things you gave your life to broken and stoop and build them up with worn-out tools, if you can make one heap of all your winnings and risk it all in one turn of pitch and toss and lose and start again at your beginnings and never breathe a word about your loss, if you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your turn long after they are gone, and so hold on when there is nothing in you except the will which says to them, hold on. If you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings nor lose the common touch, if neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you, but none too much, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, then yours is the earth and everything that's in it, and, which is more, you'll be a man, my son. If you can be the only, not the best, if you can be who you were meant to be, I'd like to close this off with a poem of mine, actually. I also discovered in CTA a foolish thing of mine, a foolish little calling, vocation that is poetry. And this is a foolish poem dedicated to all the fools, all of the dreamers. Because I think if we're not here for a dream, for a better world, for a better life, then what's the point, man? That's why it begins in CISA. It begins for a dream. And it begins for us foolish folk. And this is called an ode to the fools. Are you enough of a fool to be moved? Are you enough of a fool to improve? Are you enough of a fool to just do it? Are you enough of a fool to get through it? Are you enough of a fool not to quit? Are you enough of a fool to have grit? Are you enough of a fool to just live? Are you enough of a fool to just give? Are you enough of a fool to be CEO? Are you enough of a fool to embrace the unknown? Are you enough of a fool to believe what you know? Are you enough of a fool to go let your shine show? Are you enough of a fool to ensure others shine? Are you enough of a fool to bear offerings to time? Are you enough of a fool to plant trees through your trade? Are you enough of a fool to miss out on their shade? The fools make the world go round and round. A world full of fools lets abundance abound. The fools who for others will sacrifice all, who take from them one, who give to them four, neither wince nor wane as they give, and then gain. The fool's sacrifice is what we all need, and therefore may all fools of my message heed. I implore you to folly and fool and to jester. So one day, Lord, someday, the world will be better. Please be foolish enough to be who you are. Please be foolish enough to be the only. If you have not already, follow. I can say this now. Subscribe. I can't do the yet, but we have videos, so I can say subscribe. Please share this with any other foolish young aspirant, foolish young dreamer who could do with a dose of authenticity. And I hope that you have a great week.